Good morning. Welcome to Pathways Podcast. I'm Aaron Groves, and I am joined by a Newton Cardinal legend, a former coach, wrestling coach, and technician extraordinaire, um, but also principal of Woodrow Wilson schools for the last 11 years. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, Todd Schuster.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm surprised and
Reluctant?
Yeah.
I felt like you were a little reluctant to come on here.
Maybe this is my first four podcast, so it's gonna be good.
Who knows? Maybe you'll be hosting your own podcast with millions of subscribers, a couple years from now.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes.
Well, thanks for coming on. I want to start. One of the things we want to do here on the podcast, or that we have been doing, is just inviting different people in from different leadership roles in the community and with nonprofit organizations. And so I think you're the first principal we've ever had on. So
Honored.
Yeah. Well,
Thanks for having me.
I don't know that anybody will be able to live up to the bar that you're going to set here, but we'll try moving forward.
Absolutely.
So take me back. Maybe when did you first become interested about education, and pursuing a career in education? And did you always know Littles was going to be your?
The Littles was not when I was younger, like in my 20s, early 20s. The Littles was not part of the equation.
Yeah.
But I knew I wanted to be an educator. I asked my mom that several years ago. It's like, when, because I don't really recall. And she's like, you always wanted to be a teacher.
Really?
Yeah. And I saw myself more in the high school realm, but I think I thought that because when I was in high school, that's what I knew at the time.
Yeah.
And then I remember I wrote a paper in college specifically stating that these elementary kids are difficult. I don't know if I could. And it was like a PE class or something. Not saying that was easy, but specifically stating that the Littles is not where I want to be. I want to be with the high school.
Yeah.
And I also remember I was a lifeguard and I was a swimming lessons instructor, and teaching a girl from not even being able to put her face in the water to swimming the length of the pool in a summer. That planted the seed of maybe there's something to the Littles.
All right. Well, I've always said Littles are not my gifting when it comes to nursery and children's ministry here at the church. But, who knows what God will do in my heart, just like he changed your heart for Littles. I admire that you had aspirations to be in a professional career as a kid, because I grew up wanting to be a garbage man. So, yeah.
For this will show my age. There's a Leave It to Beaver episode. The beaver cheated on a test and he did really well, so they called him in and said, "Hey, what do you want to be?" He said, "Garbage man." They're like, "Why?" "Well, people won't care what you smell like." So you're gifted, Aaron, in more ways than one.
I had goals, but actually, you know what I said? I never met my goal. I actually worked for Dodge Recycling for a short period of time in college to make a little money. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I gave it a try.
Yeah.
Found out it wasn't for me. So,
Mm-hmm.
So do you have any saves? You were a lifeguard. Do you have any saves?
I don't have any. My mom would ask me,
Yeah.
"Have any saves today?" I said, "Well, we had 304 patrons. Nobody drowned. Had 304 saves."
Oh, there you go.
So
yeah, you saved thousands over the course of your lifeguard career.
I do remember I was teaching a private lesson, and the mom and the mom and a littler one were outside the pool just watching me, and the mom went to use the restroom, and I heard a bloop. And I looked over, and the little one fell in the pool.
Oh, man.
And so I was like 7 feet away, so I just picked him up. And Mom, I don't even think Mom knew about it because she was in the restroom.
That's a save, though.
That's a save. But back then you didn't have to document anything. I just picked the child up, went on with my lesson.
That child's probably like CEO of some large corporation
Could
now,
be.
like changing lives. Maybe cancer research or something.
Yeah,
Well done.
it's a better life.
God put you in the right place at the right time. Swimming stories. I feel like today's gonna be a day of sharing stories. I can remember I was never a good swimmer. I sunk. Like I would get in, like I would try to float. Your body naturally floats, but mine would always just sink. I claim large muscle mass, low body
I was
fat.
just gonna say that.
Yeah. But when I went to Navy, you have to pass swimming tests. And I was really nervous. I had done some swimming at prep school, like training with the swimmers there, and it went okay. But we had to test out during quote unquote boot camp, plebe summer. And I'm like sitting next to one of the guys in my company, and he's like, "Why are you so nervous?" I'm like, "I'm not gonna make it." He's like, "Tell you what, just grab my shorts, and I'll pull you across." And I'm like, "All right, that sounds pretty good." So we jump in the water, and he's gone. He's gone. So here I am, like trying to make it across one length of the pool. I did. I make it halfway back, and I'm gassed, and I'm going under. They had to jump in and save me.
Somebody got to save.
Yeah, and so for the rest of plebe summer, I was in the special education swim class. They called us Aqua Rocks because we sank so much, and I can't swim.
Did you finish the test?
I ended up passing because they worked with me. Another funny story. One of the tests we had to do, we had to swim halfway out across the pool, hold our breath, go halfway the rest of the way underwater the entire time. Well, I do that the first time, and I'm trying to do a crawl stroke underwater. Apparently, you can't do that. It doesn't work, which I found out. But I ate breakfast and lunch every day with a Navy SEAL, and I'm telling him this, and he had some colorful words for me on when I told him I was doing the crawl stroke, and he's like, "You're an idiot. You got to do like a breaststroke with like a frog leg kick." And I'm like, "All right." And then he's like, "And then, like when you think you need to come up for breath, you just keep going. And you're gonna think you need to come up for breath again. You just keep going, and then all of a sudden you're gonna see this black circle coming in." And he said, "Once it gets to about 4 or 5 inches, you better hurry up because that means you're passing out." And so he was right. The black circle came, but I passed the test. And so I can float to save my life now, but I have to do an elementary backstroke the whole time. I still don't float well. So anyway, that's my swimming story.
That just shows that Aaron Groves is mentally tough. Aaron Groves is a hammer. Don't have anybody tell you different.
Okay. I need you as like my life coach. I just need to spend more time with you. Yeah. Like I need to call you once a week, and you can just speak life into me.
Watch what you wish for.
So what you go to college? Where'd you go to college at?
Went to college in Northwestern College in Orange City.
Okay, Northwestern. We've got some youth from here that are at Northwestern.
That's awesome.
Right now. Great school, it sounds like. And
yeah.
So
and
yeah.
I'll say when I was 18 years old, Northwestern was looking out for me before I even realized that I needed Northwestern.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What took you there specifically?
It was really close to home. I grew up 45 miles north of there. And again, 18 years old, thinking that wrestling was life. Wanted to stay close to home so family could watch if they wanted to. And yeah. And it was the Christian college aspect that, because there was other colleges near Sibley where I grew up, but Northwestern was by far the one with the strongest Christian education that was close to home.
Right on. And so you got your what is it, elementary?
Yeah, I was a double major. I double majored in LED and PE.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. I tell everybody I crammed 4 years of school into 5. It was hard, but I did it.
Good work. So, do you immediately get a job when you graduate then?
I did. I taught second grade for 4 years in Orange City.
Okay.
And that particular year, 1991, Orange City, the year before, did not have a wrestling program. So I owe a lot. I owe a lot to my family, of course, but I owe a lot of where I am today because of Lyle Lundgren. Lyle Lundgren was my high school wrestling coach, phenomenal Christian, and they wanted him to start this program in Orange City. And so during the interview, Lyle gave him my name because I was student teaching at the time. And Lyle calls me and told me all of this and said, "Did you apply?" I said, "No, I don't have a chance for that job." And he said, "Put your name in the hat." And yeah, and I strongly feel that I owe a lot to him. But there's, it's a long journey. But there's a lot of people that were in my corner for sure.
Yeah. So how many years did you teach in Orange City then?
Just 4. Taught 4 years in Orange City. During those 4 years, married my wife, Tracy.
Where'd you meet her at?
She's a Sibley Ocheyedan grad as well.
Okay.
And
so you knew her in high school?
We did. Yep.
Same grade?
No. She was 3 years younger.
Okay. And
she went to the University of Iowa. And so there was a long distance relationship for quite a few years. Yeah, so I taught there in Orange City for 4 years. Was the middle school, started the middle school wrestling program in Orange City.
Right on. And so after 4 years, where do you wind up?
Then we moved to Newton.
Yeah, why Newton?
So Tracy, during the 4 years in Orange City, during the 2 years that we were married, Tracy was getting her master's in counseling at USD in Vermilion, and then she was offered a job at Capstone here in Newton.
Okay.
So I resigned, being young, maybe a little cocky because I was a male. I'll find a job.
Yeah.
I didn't get a job right away. It took till August 91, 92, 93, 94. In 95, and I found a job in August and I taught second grade for 1 year at Green Mountain, Garwin.
Where is that?
It's north of Marshalltown.
Okay.
Yeah. So
did you drive there every day?
Yep, commuted that.
Oof.
It was about an hour.
Okay.
One way. And I look back at it and I kind of enjoyed. I kind of mentally prepared on the way there and decompressed on the way home, and yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
I haven't commuted since, but it was good.
Would you do it again?
If I had to do it all over again, I would.
Yeah.
But
not at this stage in your life.
No.
No.
I'm good.
Yeah. You're so good. You could retire at any time, right? Do you have all your years of service?
That is correct. In education, you get a rule. It's called the Rule of 88.
Right.
You take your age plus the number of years of service, and I met that last year. But I'm persevering, using my mental toughness, and no, it's all good.
Who's the hammer? Yeah, you are. And look at you. How many kids do you have at Woodrow?
Is this my 11th year? 11th
yeah, it
year
is. That's what you said in your bio.
Yeah, because I've got to use my fingers all the time.
You got you're out of fingers.
Yeah, 11 years at Woodrow. Yeah.
How many kids?
At Woodrow?
Yeah.
304.
304.
Mm-hmm.
Boy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
And it's K through 4?
That is correct. Yep.
All right. So let's back up just a little bit. Where was your first teaching job in Newton?
I taught at Berg Elementary. I taught 5th grade, and I was an assistant wrestling coach there too, not at the elementary. So I taught there. What did my bio say? 13 years. I think it's 13 years.
I can pull it up if you want me to.
I was
You only have 2 big toes, so you.
Yeah, I believe it was 13 years that I taught 5th grade at Berg. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you enjoy 5th grade?
I did. So I went from 2nd grade to 5th. So back up, and so my first job is teaching the littles, 2nd grade. fell in love with it.
Hmm.
I guess you have to experience it as an elementary teacher or a principal, how many hugs that the kids give you
Ah,
every single day.
yeah.
And when I taught second grade, it was like I'm not going.
Yeah.
I found my niche, or it found me. And so so then I taught second grade for 5 years, if you include Orange City and Green Mountain Garwin. And then fifth grade, ooh, that was a big jump. Second grade to fifth grade, loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
How many hugs did you get?
Not as many. A few, but not
Yeah.
nearly as many.
Yeah.
No.
And so that was at Berg here in town.
Yep.
And then what led you to make the decision? I want to go from just being a teacher to get into an administrative role.
Sure. And there was the principal at Green Mountain Garwin. There was they had a principal social, and really what it was is, now I look back at it, is they were trying to recruit people to go into administration, and it was sponsored by the principals of Iowa, and not necessarily a university or a college. And so I went to that, and what I gained from that more than anything is that somebody actually reached out to me and said, "Hey, you ought to think about this." And so I did think about it, and I just thought, I can try to touch 20, 25 kids per year on a positive note. Why don't I expand that to 304? So just trying to, reach as many kids as possible.
Yeah. What would you say is one of the most enjoyable aspects of being a principal and having I don't know, influence over those kids?
Well, I mentioned the hugs, but I really enjoy meeting with staff, parents, and having a focus on kids and making decisions that's what's best for kids. Sometimes there's disagreements between the parents and I, or teachers and I, but I go to bed every night thinking in my mind that I'm just doing what's best for kids, and that just brings me joy.
Yeah. What? So, family dynamics over the years, family dynamics have changed. The town of Newton has changed. What's some of the biggest changes you've seen in elementary education from when you started to maybe now?
Yeah, that's that there is so many things that have changed. I mean, I think about when I first started, I didn't have a phone in my room. If you wanted to use the phone, you had to walk down to the office. Kids didn't have computers. I mean, I had a computer in Orange City, and I didn't really know what to do with it.
Apple IIe, the
I don't even know. I just know that Oregon Trail was on it.
Yeah.
So on the weekends, I would grade papers, and then I would go back and I'd play Oregon Trail. Yeah, and so just the technology is it's so
still kind of disengaged from work and just be taught at home, and not Principal Schuster.
Yeah. I not so much as being a principal, but I remember being a teacher, leaving the building. And this is, again, I don't know if this will answer your question, but leaving the building and just saying, I'm done for the day.
Yeah.
And then like you said, just being Todd, just being a dad, being a husband. It's a little different being with the principal, because there are some things, some emergencies that come up between 3:30 p.m. and 7:30 a.m. And I'll address those. But if it's not an emergency, I'll wait till the
Yeah.
till the next morning.
I think
And,
that's healthy. I think that's healthy just for your mental health, but also for your marriage
yeah,
too.
absolutely. And I get notifications with text, but I don't get notifications for email. So it's like I had to draw a line somewhere.
Yeah.
So
So teachers, if you're listening and you really want to get a hold of Principal Schuster, text him. Don't send
hopefully it's not live that they're listening because they're teaching.
an email. No, that's good. What specifically have you seen? Maybe in Newton that's changed. Whether it's again family dynamics, whether it's the culture in Newton. Have you seen a shift from the role of educator?
So for years we talked about being a minority, whatever that would mean, free and reduced lunch. We don't look at all of those things. We
Yeah.
just look at a second grade Todd Schuster or Aaron Groves. We're gonna meet you where you're at, and we're gonna help you grow.
Yeah.
So yeah, the dynamics have changed, and the teachers, administrators, just have to persevere and
Yeah.
yeah.
What would you say to parents? So I've got 3 kids, and I obviously want them to be academically successful and to grow academically. What would you say to parents? What are some good ways to help your children grow and to I don't know, help foster a learning environment?
Yeah, so I would read to them, have them read, take turns reading. If the resources are there, you cannot have enough books.
Mm-hmm.
And if the resources aren't there, we have a great local library
Right.
that you could check out books. I would limit technology, and that's not easy. So the younger they are and you set those parameters, the easier it's going to be.
Yeah.
If you set those parameters when they're 3 and 4, it's going to be a lot easier trying to put those parameters when they're 9, 10, and 11.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some good things that come from technology too, that you could incorporate, different educational games, and then just being loving,
Yeah.
and just try to keep it as normal as possible.
So you have 2 kids, a
Yep.
son Parker and a daughter Tess, and they seem like great kids. I don't know Parker as much as I know Tess because I would work out with her at the CrossFit gym and heard some stories. Just how she's grown a lot in her faith in the last 4 or 5 years. Or actually, it seems like that. Would you be willing to talk about? I know Tess isn't here. We don't have permission from her, but I feel like there was a moment, as we were working out at the gym together as well, that she had a medical crisis, and you guys were asking for a lot of prayer, and I ran into her at the YMCA later, and she was talking about the only thing I can attribute that medical crisis to getting out of that and being healed is prayer.
Yeah.
And so, do you want to walk us through that a little bit, and even maybe speak into like what were you feeling as a dad? I mean, here she is having a medical issue, and there's she's states away. There's nothing
Yeah.
you can really do.
Right. Tess is engaged. She's getting married in June, and Jameson Hines is the fiance. Jameson had the opportunity to play football for the University of Iowa, and they were at a bowl game in Nashville. And Tracy and I decided not to go, but Tess went with Jameson's family. And while she was down there, the game was on the 31st of December. And we knew since Thanksgiving that she wasn't favored to the airport. And I came back, and there, like you said, Aaron, there was a ton of prayers, and we appreciated all of those. I appreciated your prayer in the gym, and what is neat to see now is that she's going to these showers, and she may not know some of these people that she's attending these showers, but these are the people that we're praying for her. And so all of that is coming into fruition, that she can actually meet some of these people. Yeah, as a dad, it was really hard because I was in Newton, and I kept asking Tracy, should I go? Should I go? And she's like, Todd, this room is so small that you wouldn't. I think what she was trying to say is you'd get in our way. Excuse me, I didn't push the cough button. So we are so thankful for all the prayers that Tess and today we did have some follow through appointments that Tracy and I did attend with Tess, and basically the doctors were saying that this could happen again, or it may never happen again. So they really couldn't put their finger, but we have, I don't know, we get priority if she even gets the slightest sensation that there's something wrong. She was pretty sick.
Yeah. And now she's doing well.
She's
about to
great.
get married. When's the wedding?
June 14th.
There we go. In Iowa City, Newton?
It's actually in Promise City, which is there's a venue down by Pella.
Okay.
Bill Reed's daughter, Abby, runs that venue.
Okay.
We're excited about that.
Good deal. And your son, is he married?
Parker's married to Brooke.
Okay.
Yep, and they live in North Liberty. And Parker works for Grubhub Corporation, works from home. Just in a nutshell, I think Parker does a lot of the onboarding type of things for Grubhub.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then he spent some time in like Arizona or New Mexico or something, didn't he?
Close, Austin, Texas.
South where it's warm. He was down where it was warm. That's all I remember.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good memory. Yep.
Yeah.
He was down in Austin for a couple years because after graduation from college, that's where the cool young people go, and then he found out it was kind of expensive, and they didn't really. Him and Brooke really didn't know anybody, so they moved back to North Liberty, where they have a nucleus of friends. And
any kids yet?
Nope, no kids.
So you're not a grandpa.
I'm not. Nope, they got a dog, Molly. So
Okay.
I guess I'm a, what do they call that?
A dog father?
Yeah.
Grand dog father? I don't know. So you mentioned starting a wrestling program. When did you start personally?
And they got Super Pee Wee
And then a lot of them
states
end up burned out by the time they get to high school. Anyway.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I started, I don't know, 6th grade, middle school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And kind of a legend.
Maybe in my own mind.
well, in my heart, you're a legend. You have a claim to beating one of the greatest wrestlers of all time to ever wrestle in the state of Iowa. Is that correct?
Aaron Groves?
Well,
I don't think we ever really competed, Aaron.
Well, you were probably 40 pounds heavier and, however many years older, and you would destroy me every practice. But no, not me. One of the Brands brothers, you actually met them at a tournament. And,
So my first tournament I was in 6th grade, like I mentioned, and they were in 5th grade. They were a year younger than me. And so my first match ever and Terry Brand's first match ever, I beat Terry.
What was the score?
I don't know. So I wish I knew. And then back then there was an 8-man bracket. So if you lost, the best you could do was 5th. And if you won, the worst you could do is 4th. It's like they just split it.
Yeah.
And so then I'm on the winners bracket, and Tom Brands and I both lost our semifinals. So we met for 3rd, and I lost to Tom on criteria.
Oh.
So back then we tied. We went in overtime. Oh, I don't know which one I beat and which one I lost to.
We'll just say it was Tom. Right?
Now, if they're listening.
Well, we're sending it to them. Don't worry. You may get someone showing up to Woodrow Wilson Elementary. Good thing the doors are locked and you have cameras.
No kidding. Well, and here's a funny story too. Is I ran into Tom and Terry when there was a museum, when the museum was here in Newton, and they had a grand opening, and I did run into them, and we brought up that tournament.
Yeah.
The first tournament, and it was all good because I would say that, yep, I'm friends with them, but they were keeping me from my goals. I was trying to keep them away from their goals. I didn't do a very good job of that. And so I wouldn't say we disliked each other, but we were not friends.
You weren't friends. You weren't exchanging phone numbers and
No.
hanging out on the weekends.
Nope. And so, yeah, but we did talk about it in a very friendly, fun way at that grand opening.
I recently got sent a picture from my dad, actually, of an award stand where you placed fourth, and the Brands brothers were the third and fifth, which it must be the one you were referring to.
That was the one.
Yeah. Can we post that too? All right, we'll post that so everybody can see it. So they can see that what you're saying is in fact true, although we have no idea if that's you on the podium or not. But
with the socks pulled up to the knees, that was me.
That was you. Okay. So then, what did you end up like weighing? What was your final senior weight?
98 pounds.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you have to cut weight?
Oh, I won't go into how bad that was on here. It was very unhealthy. And the way and those that have little ones that are starting wrestling today, it is so much better, so much healthier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 105 was like it was not an easy weight to maintain. I thought that was going to be my weight, but I lost to a kid that I previously beat the first 2 weekends. So, and then he was going to be in my district, and so were Brands.
Yeah.
So then I was like, it's either stay home or cut another 7 pounds.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. That's what I decided.
And where were you cutting from?
I wish I knew. I want to say maybe 115, something like that.
That's a lot of weight.
But here's a funny story. So those listeners that don't know, back in the day, you certified a weight, and then each month you got so many pounds. And then at the state wrestling tournament, you got so many pounds. So my senior year, on the Friday night, because you could weigh in the night before, I weighed 104. And then on the next Monday after the state wrestling tournament,
of that. And so, yeah. But I also remember, our high school had an ice cream machine, and my senior year, I would go every lunch with Carrie Stratton would carry an ice cream for me. That way, if I came across Bill Reed in the hallway, I wouldn't get yelled at for eating ice cream. So, and the funny thing is, yeah, the ice cream ladies knew me so much. At the end of the year, my senior year, they gave me a whole bag of Reese's peanut butter cup.
That's awesome.
All chopped up. They knew me by name.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So what did you start coaching right away in Newton? Well, first of all, let's talk about your success. Were you a state place winner?
So I tell everybody I was a 2-time semifinalist, 0-time finalist. My junior year, lost in the semifinals. It's a long. I won't go into details. I lost in overtime. Back then, in overtime was 1-1-1. You wrestled another match,
yeah.
but it was only 1-1-1. We tied, and so we went on criteria. I lost. During that match, I had a pinched nerve in my neck, but I didn't feel it till that night, and I could not move my neck. So I forfeited out and got sixth my junior year. My senior year, made the semi. It went not to my liking.
Good experience, though?
Yeah, it was. My senior year, I qualified for nationals. Went 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade that either.
Yeah,
it was all good.
Very good. And then you start the wrestling program, the middle school wrestling program. When you come to Newton, do you immediately have the itch to get involved in wrestling and help with that?
Yeah. So I was teaching 5th grade, and I knew I heard, I can't remember, I heard there was an opening, and I went out to Chuck Knudsen's house, and went out to his house, and him and I were talking, and basically he said, you're gonna be one of our assistants. I think that was an interview / job opportunity. And so
And what year was that? Was that my
96.
So, yeah, that would have been my freshman year.
Yeah, that would have been my first year then.
Or wait, 95, 96, 96, 97, 97, 98. No, it would have been my sophomore year. Because I was 95, 96. It was my freshman year.
Yeah, so your sophomore year.
Yeah.
So I got the opportunity, the fortunate to coach Aaron for 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And you were the smallest of all of our coaches. And so, he's the 215 pounder. And I don't weigh 215. I weigh in my 160s. So, but I'm like, you want to roll around a little bit? And been a long time since I rolled around. And we probably rolled around for 2 minutes. And my knee swelled up. My body hurt that night. And I was exhausted. So, getting
So
old
you're
stinks.
sore after 2 minutes. So what did that 2 minutes look like? Because were you on top?
I was on top.
Get it, kid.
I don't.
And yeah, you're a hammer on top. Can't get away from Aaron.
I was not good on my feet, but riding was my thing.
Yep,
So.
you're absolutely right. I remember.
Threw a leg in and got some back points. So.
Had a kid.
Yeah, but Nick's good little wrestler, good big wrestler. He's gonna be, I think, a multiple time place winner. So they got a few good wrestlers that could potentially place next year. So, but yeah, that kind of told me your body's old, Aaron. Maybe you shouldn't do this anymore. What did you enjoy most about coaching and wrestling? Because here's the thing. Wrestlers are a very unique bunch of individuals. And I don't know to coach the kids that you coached.
Aaron and company.
Yeah.
I school filled that bucket for me is just meeting, just building those relationships, which are just so much different.
What was the most challenging part of it?
Aaron.
No, I know. I was not the most challenging.
So what's difficult about so back up when you're in high school and in college and there's a weakness and you focus on that weakness. And then when you're coaching kids, you can't do it for them. That's got to come. Something's got to come intrinsically, and that could be difficult. Seeing potential, and then them not reaching that potential, and trying to pull that out of them, and just letting them know, you can do this.
Yeah. Did you ever see some that you were like, I didn't know they had that potential?
There were a couple.
Yeah.
Like especially going from freshman year to their senior year. Like, whoa, this doesn't even look like the same kid. Yep. There's
that's got to be rewarding, as a coach, to see all the time and effort you put in over those 3-4 years, and then to see it come to fruition and like just the success that they had because they were there working hard and improving.
Yeah.
So. And I can remember the first time we had a hard practice before a meet, because the previous coach, it was, let's take it easy so we don't get burnt out. But Reed came in and said, no, you're going to be wrestling hard tomorrow. We're going to wrestle hard today. And man, there was at least one guy that I could think of that threw a fit. And he actually got kicked out of practice Reed was like, then get out.
Uh-huh.
If you're not going to do it, get out. But yeah, the coaches drive a lot of the success. And so my success, I got a lot to thank for you and all the time you put in beating on me and those slop moves that you would do to put me on my back. But it was good memories. Who would you say was the best wrestler you ever got to coach?
The best wrestler I got to coach. That's a loaded question. I will say the person with the most accolades would be Jeremy Meyer.
Yeah, two-time state champ.
Yep.
Third place.
Got third his junior year. That was his only loss. Was in the semis. But you look back at some of those teams. Two teams qualified for state duels, and the battles that went on in that room were just that. They were battles.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, I don't know. There was some seasons where we didn't win as many that we probably could have or should have, but again, it's just the camaraderie and the work ethic that you're trying to instill, and it was all good.
What and I'm going to transition here back to maybe education. What would you say to any listener, maybe high schooler, that's looking to get into education and pursue that career path? What would you tell them?
I would tell them to stick with it.
Yeah. Because
we just need positive, energetic people in education, and the administrators. We can mold and coach you on how to teach, but just having that positive personality that we have it. We just need to maintain it.
Yeah. Yeah. So go get it.
Yep. And persevere.
Yeah.
Because was not the greatest student, was not the valedictorian in my class, was not the ACT.
What was your ACT?
No.
No question off limits. You said no question off limits.
Yep. He said I had a score of 18.
And now you're a principal.
Oh, I'm principal. Here's a funny story.
Yeah.
Here's a funny story.
For kids, and I know, you just talk around town to different teachers, and if they say, well, I work at Woodrow Wilson, I have yet to find someone that says they work at Woodrow Wilson. I'm like, oh yeah, Todd Schuster was my wrestling coach. I have yet to find someone that's like, that guy's a jerk. I haven't found him yet. But they're usually, they talk about their positive experience of working there. And so, good job, I would say.
Oh, thank you.
Creating the environment that you do. And you make it fun. I can remember there was one time where you and I collaborated on, I don't know if it was some sort of all school gathering in your cafeteria, and I brought the orange jumpsuit.
Yep.
Yeah, and brought you in shackles and handcuffs
and
I
Crocs.
was in uniform.
Yeah.
And Crocs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the kids had a heyday with it.
Yeah.
But it's just creating that fun environment. And speaking of fun, every year the Olympics come around, I usually get a text message from you of a of an old SNL skit of synchronized swimming.
I want to hear your side of that. I want to hear
how this got started.
Yeah.
So we were when I was in high school, and you were the coach. I think we would start doing moves together and do synchronized swimming, and then you made me a promise. You told me, because I wanted you to wear a swim cap, or I bought you a swim cap, I think after my junior year, and I wanted you to wear it, and you said, I'm not going to wear it. And I said, but we need a whole routine. You did a routine, didn't you, with your teachers way back?
Oh yeah. Yes, we did.
Yeah. Assembly or something.
The talent show.
Yep.
We did.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Well, maybe someday, we we can
Collaborate.
and develop a routine.
Yeah.
As long as I have a life vest.
Yeah.
Because
and a nose picture.
nose picture. Otherwise you may get another save if I'm not in one. Oh well, I do want to just hit on one more topic, one more subject before we go here. But you've been married.
Yep.
How many years have you been married for?
03.
You don't have enough toes. You don't have enough
93. So 93, 03, 13, 23, 31 years.
be 32 this year.
It'd be 32. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you've been together for 32 years.
Mm-hmm.
32 years of marital bliss.
Yep.
What advice would you give to maybe some young married couples out there that are listening on how to have a sustainable marriage that perseveres through tough times and to find joy in that?
Yeah, that another great question. I would just say there's give and take. Both parties have to be flexible, and it was the looks, but then we became friends.
Yeah.
And just her, she still has the love for Christ, and she still has the looks, and I would say,
Would she say the same about you?
she would say, I certainly married up.
I think we all have. We all have, yeah.
But that was that yeah.
How did she answer that question though? What originally attracted her to you, other than your looks, of course?
I think it was basically the same, because we were in like different rooms.
Yeah.
Because I actually have her letter in my office, and I would say it was probably the same thing.
Yeah.
Sense of humor, and just getting to know each other as friends.
Would you say that you're more in love now than you were when you were first married?
Oh, I would think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep,
Yeah.
it grows every day.
That's good. That's good. Well, thanks for taking the time to come on here and share some stories and talk about education and life and yeah, I've always every time I get with you and we talk and we reminisce or we talk about things, I always feel like I leave with a little more joy.
Oh, good.
And so I thank you very much. Would it be all right if I prayed for you to end this?
Absolutely.
All right. Oh, Father God, thank you. Thank you for Todd. Thank you for all those years ago, Lord, that you opened up a position here at Newton Schools for him to influence thousands of kids over his career, Lord, where he would be able to teach them and lead them and speak life into them and also hold them accountable. Lord, I thank you for how you've created him, a person with so much joy that just when he enters the room, the mood's going to be uplifted. And so thank you for the way he's created him. Lord, I pray that you continue to just bear fruit in him, Lord, that joy that only you can provide. And so, Lord, I pray as he finishes out his last couple of years at Woodrow Wilson, Lord, I pray that you continue to use him to influence teachers and impact teachers and help them grow in their careers, Lord. I pray that he continues to influence and impact students and parents and families, Lord. And I know that this community is a better place because of all the time and energy he's put into his career and his time volunteering and doing other things. And so just pray that you just bless him in that. And Lord, we pray that you continue to use him and his wife, Tracy, as well, Lord. So we thank you for them, and we just pray protection over him and just go and continue to use him. Pray this all in Jesus' name. Amen.